My name is Julian Davis, and this video serves as an introduction to my talk at Social Ontology 2020 entitled Shared Agency, Plural Intentions, and Institutions. This is a picture of a Yuan Dynasty banknote with its printing plate from the 13th century AD from China. And I show this because paper money is such a typical and popular example for philosophers who think about and write about institutional reality and collective intentionality. I'm going to read a quote from Lawrence Bergreen's book on Marco Polo entitled Marco Polo from Venice to Xanadu, because I think this passage puts in stark relief why paper money is such a popular example in this subject area. Mongol fiscal policies and technology, based on Chinese models and far advanced over Western counterparts, both impressed and baffled Marco Polo, who struggled to comprehend financial concepts so unlike those of Venice. In his travels, he extols the wonders of Kublai Khan's mint in Kambulak. It is appointed in such a way, he says, that the great lord has mastered the art of alchemy perfectly. He makes men take the thin skin that is between the bark and the wood of the tree. From that skin are made sheets like those of paper, and all these sheets are sealed with the mark and with the seal of the great lord, for otherwise they could by no means be spent. In addition, each sheet is printed by hand with the mark of an official, and if any were to counterfeit it, he would be punished. The marvel of this form of currency is that each year Kublai Khan has so great a quantity of them made that he could pay for all the treasure in the world, though it costs him nothing. So this gives us a very strong sense of the notion that human collective intentionality or human shared intentions are at the root of the institutions and the institutional realities in which we live. I think it's important to distinguish between different types of institutions. And money, for instance, is an example of what I call systematic institutions. Organized institutions are things like governments, corporations, universities. Systematic institutions, money, property. We talk about the institution of marriage, for instance, or slavery. Systemic institutions, we might think about institutionalized racism, patriarchy, democracy. And a conjecture is that organized institutions are at the basis of systematic institutions and are the mechanism through which they are propagated and maintained. But that's not going to be the focus of my talk. The focus of my talk is actually going to be on the role of shared intentionality in explaining institutional reality and explaining and modeling institutions. Over the past few decades, analytic philosophers have begun to model institutional reality with different accounts, rule-based model perspectives and equilibrium-based models, for instance. This has given rise to an incipient debate about the underlying theoretical resources to describe institutions and a tendency, in my opinion, to over-reduce these resources either in the direction of game-theoretic rational choice theories or in the direction of full-blown theories of collective intentionality. And the main point is that both extremes treat shared intentional agency as an all-or-nothing proposition. In other words, either collective attitudes or shared intentions are the sine qua non of institutional reality, or they are not required at all to model complex institutional behavior. And the point of my talk is that we should be seeking a middle ground to try to understand the role of shared intentionality in explaining institutional reality. So that's my introduction, and I look forward to delivering the full talk and, of course, to the discussion afterwards. Thank you.
Society, your crazy breed.